So I've done about 2,000 kilometers on this bike now. Went out for a trail ride last weekend, done about 115 miles altogether. This is part of hare in South Wales. As you can tell, bike's handling lovely. I'm actually out with my brother who's on a Fantic enduro bike, and it's doing just as well as that over this type of terrain. The trail, if you don't know where it is, quite rocky, nice flowing, and the Kove is keeping up with a nice flowing pace throughout it all. There was quite a few road sections in our trip, and the Kove was a dream to be on the road, to be honest, and that is with mooses and enduro tyres on, so it'd only be better on some adventure tyres for people obviously who are doing more adventure on the bike rather than what I'm doing on it. So I've done, I would say, around 50, just over 50 hours on the bike. It's been a mixture of, I've done a hare and hound race, I've done a time guard enduro, I've done the Sweet Lambaja rallies, and I'm due to do the British Rally Championship on it as well, which is in a couple of weeks for the first one. The bike hasn't really had any big modifications, just as I've said in my previous videos, I've cut the sump guard, I've changed the gearing, and that's more or less it. I have put a roadbook setup on lately, because that had to be on the bike for the Sweet Lambaja Championship. But apart from that, it is all standard exhaust, standard ECU, pretty much out the box. So the gearing on here is 51 on the rear, 12 on the front, to make it feel more like an enduro bike. It does still do around about 85 mile an hour, and it will cruise at 60 mile an hour on the road, which I done quite nicely on our trail ride last week. It's definitely more comfortable than an enduro bike to do distance on, and hopefully in the near future, maybe towards the end of the year, I'll be doing some very large rides on it. Once I've got a bit of free time between races and championships that I'm doing on the bike. Problems with the bike, we haven't really had any problems with it. A few little wear and tear issues. So I did have a bearing go in the cush drive, which was 2 hours ago, which I've replaced, and there's no further issue with that. The power is very linear and really easily controlled. Some people may comment on the power, saying there's not enough power there, but from my experience, it isn't as powerful as a 450 enduro bike, but it's definitely got enough power to use as an enduro bike. It's just not as aggressive or sharp, which, to be honest, on a bike that you're supposed to be riding long distance and over many hours, over many days, it's not something that you would want. I know my brother, who was on the Fantic, when we were out on a ride, we kept a nice flowing speed. Both of us are very, very competent riders, and I know that he was feeling more tired from the aggressiveness of the enduro bike compared to the Kove that I was riding. The rocky trails, big rocks, like we're coming up through a section here, which it doesn't look as bad on camera, but it is quite a rocky trail, with some big rocks in places, and it's just coping with it very well. Both of us agree that the Kove is actually riding over the bad rock a lot better than the enduro bike. It feels more planted, and it does give you a bit of sense of safety when you're riding it over stuff like this. I think the extra weight over an enduro bike does help you, and on the faster stuff it is a bit more stable. But I will be doing more videos, but thanks for watching, and we'll do more updates soon.